could just understand, dude, like, and they say they don't have money to get in the rooms, and yet they're buying 10 Starbucks a week, or they're buying a new pair of shoes. And most people could afford to buy something, even if it's a $200 course, right? Or read a book is for, buy a book for 10 bucks or get it for free online. Like, people make excuses because they don't really want to put the work in. I tell everybody, there's 4 things you can get anything in life. 1, clarity on what it is you want. Most people don't know that. Let's be honest. They're everywhere and nowhere, and they don't really get clear on what it is they want. Then you got to have the right skill set, develop the skill set. So read, what is it? Develop the skill set. Then you need to know the right people. You got to be around the right people. Who you're around will determine the life you have. Simple. Well, first off, thanks for having me on here. Super excited to have this conversation. And so I'll start with, first of all, I am 49. I'll be 50 in August, so I'm like 3 months away from the big 50. I've got a wife, been married 9 years, been together 15 years. She's a lot younger than me, so that's part of my reason why I've got to stay in shape, right, to make sure I'm around for her. Absolutely. Yeah, I've got a 4-year-old daughter and a 6-year-old son. So I waited later in life to have kids, and that worked for me. There's pros and cons to doing it earlier or later.
You gotta stay in shape to be able to catch up with them, keep up with them when they get older.
That's right, man. That's really my purpose in life is my family. That's everything for me. Nothing trumps that. But how I got started in the business, really, when I was 14 years old, first of all, I grew up poor. We didn't have any money. My mom pretty much raised us. My dad was in and out, jail and things like that. Did absolutely everything wrong. So I learned as a kid very early, as I was paying attention, of what not to do. And I think that was the biggest lesson that I learned growing up, is as I watched how we struggled, through life to make ends meet. And, I was just determined. I've always been kind of a very determined person. I like to win. And I've got an obsessive personality as well. So when I started my business, honestly, it was purely out of to make money. I wasn't a school guy. Like, I graduated high school. That's it. I don't even know how I got out of high school, but I graduated, no college. Just basically, learned how to install floors. With my dad, working in the summers a lot. When I was 14, 15, 16. And then when I got out of high school, man, I went straight to trade schools. I pretty much knew, well, first of all, a lot of times we grow up like we end up doing what our parents do, right? And so the only thing I knew back then was what my dad did. Like, I didn't know of all the other industries or, things that you could do in life, because, again, it wasn't my environment. I wasn't around that, right? So it was like construction, right? So it was, I asked him one day, like, how much money can I make if I learn how to do this? Because everything at that point was about money. And he told me, he's like, well, you can make $1,000, $1,500 a week if you learn this trade. And I was like, well, how long will it take me? 2 years. Okay, perfect. And I had someone in my family kind of living the lifestyle that I wanted at the time, which was, I guess someone I looked up to was my cousin. And he had the life. He was older. He had the life that I'm like, man, if I could get what you have, I'll be successful. And one day I asked him, like, how do I get what you have? You got the nice house, the nice car. And he's like, well, you could probably get this for $1,500 a week. So I connected the dots when he said that. And then my dad said, you can do this in 2 years and make this. I'm like, that's what I'm going to do. And that's really how I got into the business. And I became obsessed with the flooring trade. And I went to, at 18 years old, I went to trade schools. I paid my own money to go to these schools, learn the trade. I practiced every night in the apartment we lived in, cutting material, cut up the walls. Like, I was just become obsessed, but I really was passionate about the trade. And most people that get in the trades aren't very passionate necessarily about what they're doing. They're doing it because they have to, or their dad did it, right? But I actually saw the vision and what I could actually make out of this if I actually learned what I was doing. And then I watched other people in the business, and there was a handful at the time that had multiple trucks, multiple guys. I'm like, man, this is cool. If I could have 2 trucks, I could, make some money. And so, again, the purpose at first was to make money, because my goal was to take care of my mom and that. And I've been doing that since I was 14 years old. I've been paying the bills for her forever. She's 74 now, just moved her to Arizona as well. And that was my focus as a kid. Honestly, it was just to make money. As I grew and I started to realize, like, in order to build anything big or scale my business, because I was doing all the work at the time, and I was crawling around on concrete for 15, 16 hours. 7 days a week. But man, I absolutely loved it. Like I could not get enough. But it got to the point to where I was, I couldn't hardly walk. I was going to chiropractors, and they're like, son, if you don't do something different, you're not going to be doing this. And this was in my 20s. Like that's how much I was working. And I was making a lot of money at 20 years old too, more than most people make today at 20 years old, because I knew a craft. And then I started to self-develop, started reading and really paying attention to people that were at a different level. And I realized, like, you have to have a team. You have to be able to duplicate your efforts in order to make anything substantial, right? And so I started reading a lot, building my team out, which was difficult, right, to do that. And then it turned into the empire that it is today. But honestly, it took me until recently, the past 2 years, to actually get out of that business. Like people think, well, it's been a dream. No, people don't realize, like, I did the business at first because I needed to make money. Now I don't do the business I don't do anything because of money. That's not the first priority.
Hey guys, if you ever need anything at all you got to do is text the number below and we'll be there for you.
But that the business almost killed me, right? It takes, people don't understand when you're an entrepreneur, it sounds cool, right? You have maybe you have a nice car, a nice house and all that, but they don't realize the pain and suffering that you've had to go through to get to this point, because most people wouldn't do what I've done. It's when I look back, honestly, I'm like, man, how did I do these things? Because it was rough. I mean, I'd be in the hospital every 3 months. Looked forward to it because I would be so stressed out, had ulcers, my stomach would get inflamed. Like it was just, I would literally like pass out at night. I'd be so like stressed and overworked, and my wife would have to call the ambulance and come get me, and I would just go through these phases of, like, for years. And I didn't like anything about my life. I made good money so I could take care of my family, but Jason was a miserable person. And a lot of people didn't realize that because they were just looking at the outside in, and I put on this front that, life is good. And again, from a financial standpoint, it was good, but everything else was bad. And that's when I started really understanding, like, this is not sustainable. I don't want to live the rest of my life just making money and not being happy. And so that's when I started becoming more and more obsessed with self-development and really developing my skills as a leader and really focusing on building the team that I have today that pretty much the business runs without me. And it really did not happen. The reason it took me so long to do that, and this is what I teach other people, is if you don't become the person you need to become, you're not going to get the life you think you want, right? And so I was a micromanager. I wanted to be the solution to every problem. I controlled everything. But with doing that, you keep yourself in the hamster wheel and you keep yourself in the business, and you run off good people in the process, because good people are not going to work for someone that's going to micromanage and tell you how to do all the steps, or tell you I did it this way and I want you to do it that because I did it that way. And so once I shifted my mindset, my perspective on how I'm leading my company, and just the way that I think about my team today is like, it's a light year. It's totally different than what it was of how I got here. I struggled and fought to get here. If I had to do again, if I was broke tomorrow, I could get it back in 2 years, and it wouldn't be with me doing all the work. It just wouldn't be, right? Because I have a different mindset and philosophy around how to actually grow the business. So, it's been a ride, and part of that too is, like I said, developing leaders within the company is the only way. If you're trying to grow a business, you have to develop leaders within inside the organization. You can't be the only leader in the company, so that needs to be your focus if you're an entrepreneur and you're actually trying to get out of the day-to-day. You got to first be honest with yourself. Some guys just want to control everything, right? It makes them feel good, their ego. And you got to put your ego aside and say, what do you really want out of life? What are you trying to build? And first off, if you're building a business and you're in the business every day, it's not really worth anything. And so we have plans of selling the business one day. Well, it's if you're in the grind and you're the guy, like, your business really just isn't worth anything. So it's really coming down to thinking about what is the long-term vision and what are you trying to do with your company and your life, and really getting super clear on that. And so that's when I made those shifts and developing myself and then pouring into my team. And that's really my focus today, is how do I help everyone on my team win? This is where this is where everything changed for me. When you help your team win, you will win. If you focus on you'll win, but you'll stay in the hamster wheel forever and you'll lose good people. Whereas if I help you win personally, professionally, and financially, and everybody in my company has a way to do that. They have a comp plan, every single person. and it's tied to the mission and vision that I've set. And so if I help them win, I win. I don't need to focus on that. I focus on everyone else. And that's really the secret. And if people can understand that if you can serve others first, you'll get you can build a big business. You'll actually make more money and you'll do a lot less. Yeah, I think it was building my team, and it was getting reflecting back on myself on how I was why was I losing good people through the process of building the company. And you have to start over again and train, and then you do it again, and you're like over and over again and just wearing yourself out. And honestly, like people think it's crazy, but it's the more I self develop and the more I got around other people. This is what I think the key is. Like if you self develop like crazy every single day, because that's all I do. I don't watch TV. I don't do any of that. I'm not saying any of that's bad. That's just not what I choose to do, right, because to me it's a distraction on where I'm going.
Yeah,
If
I'm working out, I'm listening to something that's going to
right,
help me grow.
Right. And I've had coaches throughout my career too. I've always paid to get around people that could give me one nugget. Like I'll pay for one nugget. And I don't try to get it for nothing, right? And this is where a lot of people go wrong too, is they're not willing to cut the check for speed. What I've learned over the years, if you can get around the right people and pay to get in the rooms, because you're not going to get in certain rooms if you don't pay. The mentor that I have today, the reason I moved from North Carolina to Arizona is because of one guy. Moved my family across country to get closer to this one guy. Well, I had to pay to get in that room first to get to know this guy. Now we become friends. But if I never paid to get into the room, you would never get access to, you're never going to get access to certain people. It's just not going to happen. They're not just going to go have coffee with you once they get to a certain level. It's just not going to happen. And I understand now being around them why they can't, right? Because they have a community of people that are paying to be in the rooms. They have a network, they have their business, they have their family. Like there's not a lot of time, to waste, right? With just random things. And so, getting back to your question, I think it was really getting clear on what I was good at, what I was not good at, what did I really want out of life, right? I got out of the way of my ego and saying, oh, I'm the guy, right? I'm the man. I can solve all the problems. I don't want to do that anymore. So I've just got exhausted. And again, the purpose in life for me, honestly, like the reason I even started social media, which was about 1.5 years ago, I never was on social media, is I get more satisfaction out of helping someone else win than me win. And that's kind of my purpose going forward. Why I started, coaching people is, man, there's no better feeling than someone saying you helped change their life, or you helped them, lose weight or grow their business, or just in general, like the impact and the fulfillment that I get from this. My other company, it's construction, right? You do a good job, be on time, and don't hit them with change orders. And do quality work. There's not much emotion in it. You know what I'm saying? And with this, I'm able to impact people. And so my mission now is I want to impact millions of people. I want to show them what's possible. That you don't need education, you don't need any money, because I had neither, and I've done it myself. All because I've self-developed. I've spent money on myself more than I have anything else, right? And I've paid to get into the rooms around other people. That shifted my mindset, my perspective. And once you change your perspective, everything changes. And so if people could just understand, dude, like, and they say they don't have money to get in the rooms, and yet they're buying, 10 Starbucks a week, or they're buying a new pair of shoes. And like, most people could afford to buy something, even if it's a $200 course, right? Or read a book is for, buy a book for $10 or get it for free online. Like, people make excuses because they don't really want to put the work in, right? And so I tell everybody, there's 4 things you can get anything in life. 1, clarity on what it is you want. Most people don't know that. Let's be honest. They're everywhere and nowhere, and they don't really get clear on what it is they want. Then you got to have the right skill set. Develop the skill set. So read. What is it? Develop the skill set. Then you need to know the right people. You got to be around the right people. Who you're around will determine the life you have. It's simple.
Absolutely.
Right? Period. Like, the easiest way to get anything is get around people that are doing it. You want to get in shape? Hang out with me or hang out with you for 30 days. You don't need to know anything about nutrition training. You'll just be a better version of yourself in 30 days if they're hanging around someone in shape, or someone that's running a big business, or someone that's having a great marriage. And that's it. And so I tell people, this is hard. They don't want to get away from the circle they're in because they've known them for 20 years. They feel bad, and they're sacrificing their own life for other people. And I tell people, like, the people that I'm around, my circle is very, very small. It's about, okay, what your faith, whatever that is for you. So you're talking about your faith? Are you talking about building your business finances? Are you talking about how to be a better dad? Are you talking about how to be a better husband? Are you talking about how to build networks of relationships? Like, if you're not talking about those things, then we're not going to hang out. Doesn't mean I don't love you. You're just not going to be in my circle because we're not aligned on where we're going. So if you know where you're going, you put guardrails on, and you shouldn't let anything get in the way of that, because anything getting in the way of that is a distraction. And man, if people could just understand that and stop doing all the things that you're doing and get clear on what you want, get around the right people, and read books every day, your life would change. Because that's what happened to me. This is my story. There's nothing better than self-developing and spend money on yourself. I will spend money on myself until the day I die. I will never have it figured out. There's always someone at a different level. It just keeps going. And when you read and you get new information, things change. You get a new perspective. You're like, oh, I didn't know that. Let me go implement this thing, right? And so to me, self-development has changed my life in getting around the right mentors, which I have one now. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know if that answers your question. I kind of went off, but yeah, so basically, when I started the coaching business, which, has been, I don't know, almost a year, I guess, we've been, it's a slow process building it up. And part of that's me figuring out, that what I'm doing, and because I've never really done it at any kind of big level. But, yeah, I mean, it really comes down to, I just want to help millions of people, right? Impact millions of lives, and through my experience. And if someone's in the construction space, or if they're just a high level entrepreneur, right? Because like you said, it doesn't matter if it's flooring or what it is. Like, you got the same business principles. And so really just being able to help people, whether it's grow your business, whether it's, getting in shape. I mean, most people probably come in for fitness because that's what more or less they see. And then once they get in, they realize like there's more to me. Like I'm not, a fitness guy really. Like I'm a business guy that has a passion for fitness, and I understand how that's impacted my life, and it's why I'm so passionate about staying in shape and teaching other people how to do it. But it's really, we started because we want to help other people, man, and I want to create a movement, a community of people. And again, a lot of the reasons why I'm wanting to, it's like, how do I help people get it all? I'm on this journey to where I'm trying to get, health, wealth, love, happiness. Like I want the whole thing. I don't just want the finance. I have a lot of people that I coach that have money, man, they're miserable everywhere else.
Yeah.
And again, it started out for me. I needed to make money. There was a reason for that. But now it's like, I want it all. I am like obsessed with being the absolute best version of myself in every area of life. Like best husband. Like when I'm not here anymore, there's going to be a hard time for someone to step in my shoes. You know what I'm saying? Like in the same way, I want my kids to look up to me and respect me. And so the reason why I'm so passionate, the reason why I think I'm on this path is because I didn't have any of it as a kid. Like that's the reality of it. I didn't have nothing was good. Nothing in my life was good. My mom was great. She tried the best she can, but nothing in my life, everything was a freaking struggle. And so now that I've figured out a lot of it, again, I'll never have it fully figured out, but I just want to help people like cut time frame off. Like if you're trying to do something, again, find someone that's doing what you're doing, living the way you want to live, and figure out how to get close to them. And that's why I started, honestly. It's just I really want to help other people. And when I'm teaching, it helps me become better. Like every time I'm even talking to you, like it's just reiterating things that I need to be aware of and pay attention to in my life, because my life's not perfect now. It never will be. No one's is, right? I'm trying to improve every day, and I have struggles just like everyone else. But it's just like I could talk about it all day. Like I could literally talk about this all day. And so I just want to help other people, man. That's what it comes down to. Yeah, well, first off, I see this a lot, is most people spend the first half of their life chasing wealth and sacrificing their health. They spend the next half of their life spending their wealth on their health. This is what goes on, right? And so I tell people, like the when you take care of your body, like it's your temple, right? It's everything. And I can tell you, for me, being in great shape for the past 15 years, similar to where I'm at, right? It's been consistent. Is if I wouldn't have been in this kind of shape to build my business, I don't think I would have been able to do it. And the reason being is, one, I had the energy and the brain power to function every day because I fed myself with nutritious food, right? So I was just able to work longer and work harder and go through the stress that's involved in a business. Like it's very stressful, right? And, through all the things that I've done, I've always made a point to get to the gym. And half the time, like, I don't want to go to the gym either. I don't always want to go to the gym. But I go because it's my standard. It's my identity. Anybody that knows Jason knows that, like, this is who I am, right? It's like I'm going to take care of myself. I'm the guy that, I'm going to just, I'm just different, right, than most people, right? So it's my identity. It's my standard. I don't negotiate my standards. But what fitness taught me when I was learning is the routines and the discipline that you need in order to get an elite physique, especially being our age, right?
Right.
You don't get to this level if you're not doing things consistently. The reason people don't get results, it's typically not the plan, it's not the coach, it's you, right?
Yeah.
Because what's keeping you from where you're at to where you're going is discipline. It's in the middle.
Yeah.
And if you don't have it, you're not going to get it in anything in your life. You're not going to be at the top, right? So, but having those routines, forcing yourself to go to the gym, that's where I built my mental capacity. It's like just doing something that's hard even when you don't want to, right? It's like do what's hard, life will be easy. Do what's easy, life will be hard. Like it's that thing. And so I understood that early, and I felt better every time I worked out. Even though I was having problems and, I was working long hours, I always made a point to go to the gym and do the walks because it's an excuse. Like, you can be on a call and you can walk. Like, and again, if you don't have but 3 days a week, like you can still be in great health, right? You don't have to do the 5 days. I do 5 days, but like, hey, if you got 3 days and you can get up and move your body, people just make excuses, right? Just do that, eat quality food, and be consistent with it and quit making excuses. But yeah, I mean, fitness, if I wouldn't have been in shape, I don't think it would have happened for me. I think I would have started having other problems, that maybe people that's not in shape, when you get sick and they don't recover, it's because they just don't have the juice inside their body to like keep them, to get them up again. You know what I'm saying? So for me, it was everything. Like, and it's helped me get in more doors than anything else. Period. Like, there's nothing that gets me in the door more than and you don't have to say anything. Like, if you walk in a room, no one knows if you had money or not, right? But if you walk in the room and you're in shape, people are going to automatically think something in 1 second. They're going to be like, who's that guy? And then they're going to want to go talk to you, and then it's going to open up, what do you do? And then it just starts turning into this. And this is what's happened. This is what's happened the last 15 years of my life. And it's all because of fitness. People respect people that take care of themselves, and especially as you get older, it's harder, right? And so fitness has been it's everything to me. With the things that you need to do, the water, the training, the getting your proper sleep, all those things. I mean, it requires discipline. But that's taught me how to be disciplined in my business, right? Even though I'm not in the day-to-day now in my business, but like before, it's just like the more on point I was with my physique and body and my routines, the more strict I was. And I'm an obsessive guy, right? It doesn't have to be at the level of that, but the more I was, like, the sharper I was in my business. The quicker I thought, the quicker I could solve a problem. And I credit it all to fitness. And a lot of people don't understand that because they've never really felt really good. Like, I don't know what 49 is supposed to feel like, but I can go out here and run with a 20-year-old. I don't care what it is. Like, I can do any of it. It doesn't matter what it is. And so to me, it's been everything for me. And that's why I'm so passionate about it. That's why I'm teaching my kids. Like, I wish I would have started earlier, but it's honestly like the greatest thing you can do is take care of your body. That it is. Everybody is a walking advertisement, as I tell them, right? You're a walking billboard. And ask yourself, would you buy the advertisement that you're putting out there? And if the answer is no, which it is for most people, then you should change what you're doing.
Right. Yep. Yeah.
That's the way I see it. Yeah, leadership to me, and everybody maybe have their own version. Leadership to me is the ability to influence others to get to the next, to become the best version of themselves, right? So it's bringing out the thing inside the other person that maybe they didn't think was possible. And so again, getting back to fitness, like your ability to influence other people, like your body is a big part of that. It is for me and my company. Like I can tell you that, right? So, but what I look for when we bring in people, and this is shifted too, right? I honestly I like people like the underdogs, like the people that maybe had a little tougher upbringing than someone else, right? Because that is why I am the way. Like I wouldn't change anything about how I grew up because it's made me who I am today, and I would not be here if it wasn't for that, because I was able to stress or going through discomfort and all those things like doesn't affect me because like I'm like, dude, I've already done this at 10 years old. Like this is nothing. So I like people that come in with a little story behind them on, always find out a little, how did you grow up? What do you do? Family and all those things. And you can kind of tell how someone is, right? And then, asking them, what their dreams and aspirations are, what their values are in life. Like these are the things that I look for when people come into my organization. It's not just about your skill. Like we can develop skill, right? We can develop that. But the type of person you are coming in, like that needs to be on point for me. And it wasn't always the case. Before it was like if you can, sell or you can, fill the seat because I need someone here, you would get a job. And today it's more like I want to know you personally. What are you about as a person? Do you value the same thing as I do? Do you have big dreams and big goals? Because I want people around me that want to win.
Yep.
They if they don't want to win, they're pulling everyone else back. So having that winning attitude, that edge about them, that they want to just take over the world. I mean, that's what I'm looking for. When we bring somebody on out, if that makes sense. Yeah, and I found people that didn't come up that way, and they're well educated people. They have degrees and all these things, but man, they don't have the same fight. They don't have the same fight. They don't have the same aspirations because they've already they didn't grow up that way, right? So there's magic in growing up. So people that are watching, if you grew up like really tough, like congratulations, like this is going to shape you into the person that you need to become so you can conquer bigger things, right? And so to me, like it's like if I get that person again, what are your values? Like if we're not aligned there, we don't work together. That's because I'm not interested in that. Like I had a guy one time that came in and he missed his kid's birthday and I let him go. And because I was like, dude, that's just not. He missed it for not a good reason. Like, so let me say that. Well, it was just something like it just wasn't right. And I had a bad feeling about it. And again, I didn't do my homework enough on the person before he came in. And it's just been a real focus now. It's like I want good people around me only because the other people are going to leave. They're going to leave eventually anyway. I mean, if they're coming in, and here's the other thing: if they're coming in just for money, why are you coming to work for me? Yes, money's important, but that can't be the only reason why you're here. Because if money's the reason you're here, you'll leave for more money.
Exactly.
Right. So there would be people on my team. It would be very difficult for them to leave and get more money because there's a bond with us. There's a mission that we're on. There's a purpose behind it, and so I look for that in people, like what you want, what do you want out of the company, where do you want to go, like, and then figure out how to help them get there. And then to your other question of how do I keep them, I think was the question, right? Yeah, well, and you said it, like, first of all, helping them win in the process is part of it, right? Having the right metrics in place that tie into the vision, making sure everybody wins through the process, so it's not about you. That's one piece of it. I think the other key thing for me is diving deeper. Like anytime we hire people, I get on and talk to them after they've already been basically they have the skill set, but like I want to make sure that they're hitting the buckets and all those areas that I said of being fulfilled. Great marriage. If you're married, your kids and all those things.
Right.
Is I like to help them figure that piece out. I love just talking about that and helping them win and helping them understand, like, we just had this conversation last week. If your marriage is not on point, you're not going to be the best version of yourself. Like, and anyone that's married knows that. Even though you can put it off and you can fake it and go in, you're just not going to be very good. So having your relationship dialed in and being able to help them understand that and help them with situations or help them get in better shape, like we've done it in our company, like, and it's just changed how we do things as in a culture, right? It's like, so focusing on them, helping them win, but helping them on a personal level. Like, they don't have goals. I'm going to help you set goals. How do we make sure you achieve them, long term, and just really getting them to think bigger picture, right? If you can help them figure out their life and help shape that and help them with that process, like, people will be loyal to you because you're truly trying to help them in other areas, not just about making money for the company. And honestly, that was the big shift for me. I mean, one of them was really just that, like, really trying to help them, in all these areas and being real about it, because I am real about it, and I believe it's the secret. Like, you got to get all of it, and it's hard for people to do that. So helping them that way, our team, everybody gets unlimited PTO, which people thought I was crazy. That's what I do, but when I did it, productivity went way up. People perform better. You get more done. The right people, right? The wrong people will kind of weed themselves out, but
Right.
so I
They'll
give.
take advantage of it, and they're going to be gone.
They'll be gone, or you'll know, right? Because the right players they'll call you out. You don't even have to say anything, right? But when I did that too, and give them flexibility, and it's like, we need to accomplish these things. If my customers are taken care of, we hit our metrics, whatever. Like, if you need to go get your hair done or your nails done or whatever it is, like, I don't really care. And I wasn't like that before. I was not like that before. Now we've got people who work at home. They work in a different state. Like, we're not micromanaging. There's just expectations you need to get done. I'll be flexible with you. Be flexible with me. Number one, make sure my customers are taken care of. Make sure we always operate within our core values. And if you do that and you go left and this person goes right, I don't care, as long as we do it the right way.
Yeah.
And that's it. And treat it like a family. Honestly,
Yeah.
that's when I made those shifts. That's when really my business started to change and things started running a lot better.
Right.
And then selling the vision all the time. As an owner, you got to sell the vision all the time. You need to be talking about your core values all the time. You need to be painting pictures, telling stories, getting everybody pumped up. Here's what we're going to go do, and here's how you're going to help us get there. And like, most people don't do that. I didn't do that before. And we're not perfect at it now, but to me, these are the little things that make the difference in the good and the great. Because I'm around some great companies now where I'm at, and this is what I see. Like, I study the great ones, and it's really comes down to their culture and their team and how they operate as a team, as a unit.
Yes.
That is so key for building anything sustainable. Yeah, so for the construction company, again, I'm not in the day to day anymore, so that's good. It's freed up my time to pursue my other passions. But we're on a heavy growth track there. We're getting ready to build up. We're in the West Coast. We're on the East, heavy in the East. We're in the West some. We're gonna be building out more in the West. So we're still planning to grow our empire there. We're looking at acquiring a couple other companies as well, different types of maybe like countertops or cabinets to that go around the flooring piece, so that we already have these customers. If we bring these other companies in or buy these other companies, they're like, we can literally double and triple our business because we already have the clients, right? So instead of going after more flooring, we bring in counters, and now boom, our business can double just from that one service added to the portfolio. So we're looking at that. We've got a plan to be at 50 mil in the next two years, probably three max, with that company, and to keep, like, for me, I'm never going to stop. It's this. I want to run our business now. It's not a lifestyle business. We're running the business as if we're going to sell it. So we're making sure all the metrics and the ratios are in place, and books are clean, right? And I'm not taking things out of the company like I used to do, but it's running like a real business. And then making sure that we're, in the next 5 years, 6 years, if we do want to sell, whether we do or not, we're going to be prepared and positioned to do that because we're going to have everything in line. So that's the focus on that business, to continue to just really grow and build that team. We're hiring new people all the time, so we're always looking for someone, again, that can bring value, right, to the company. So, and then as far as the coaching business, which ties into the business too, right? But it's I have a big vision to grow this into a $100 million empire. And again, it's not the money. It's because I want to help millions of people. In order to do that, you got to have a massive team. So,
Yes.
right now it's a small team, but in the next, 12 months, it's going to look way different. It's, so my goal is to just scale and grow this coaching business, again, around fitness. We're looking to bring in, I'm getting ready to partner with, someone in the next couple of weeks, probably on the hormone side of things, so I can really tie it all together from a fitness standpoint, total health optimization that I'm working on, which I think is going to be huge. I tried to do it about 5 years ago and it fell on my face, but now I've got someone that we're aligned value-wise, and we met at an event here, and it's the relationship is awesome right now. And so this is something I'm super excited about that's going to tie into this. But again, helping other entrepreneurs, construction people scale and grow their business. We have plans to do masterminds and networking events and retreats and things like that to really help people get from where they're at to where they want to go. So it's a big vision, but everything's about helping everybody else. Again, I say the revenue number, but it's about how many lives can I change, and so whether that's bringing team members on to sell or do whatever, like, I'm all about changing lives internally and outside.